Get ready for the trip of a lifetime. This is the series with the most incredible and shocking holiday behaviour. Capturing stupid antics on smartphones. With a camera in every tourist pocket, we're getting into the action like never before. Raw, real, and uncensored. This is World's Wildest Holidays. Coming up,
Okay, we're about to have a drag race.
Trouble at Sea.
Oh, is that the boat? Oh my God!
The pyramid scheme to get an amazing selfie.
50 people have died in the last 100 or 200 years falling off.
And we're hitting the slopes for a crash course in extreme stupidity.
Oh, it's literally like a 180.
But first, we're taking off with the millions of young Brits who every summer pack their bags, sack off their jobs, and hop on a cheap flight for a couple of weeks of sun, sand, and seeing double. They're not just catching a tan, but all their bad behaviour on camera too. But this lot don't generally wait for the plane to touch down before getting the party started. This clip is either a plane full of passengers filmed screaming for their lives as their plane plummets to earth, or it's a cabin full of rowdy Irish holidaymakers filmed en route from Dublin to Ibiza, throwing a party at 35,000 feet. Unfortunately for the human race, it's the latter. I've seen better behaved hijackers. Admittedly, the flight only cost 20 quid each way, and they'll be paying a lot more than that when they get to the nightclubs in Ibiza, so I don't blame them for making the most of it. And to be fair, it looks like they're having a great time. All except the poor mug whose job it is to control this wild bunch.
Take our seat, the plane is
He does not look happy. But he should count his lucky stars he wasn't on this flight. The passengers had to take control on this plane in Russia when one chap reportedly had one too many vodkas and caused a right scene. He was eventually dragged off board, prompting all concerned to give themselves a pat on the back. Until they realised he was the pilot. I'm joking, of course. Now, you wouldn't have to deal with that sort of mayhem on a flight from London to Miami. That's where people act in a more sophisticated way, right? Wrong. There's two people in this toilet. You can't see their faces, but trust me, they'll look very pleased with themselves. They're sure no one else has clocked their mile-high club antics. Won't be so pleased with themselves when they realise that bloke in front with his headphones on was filming the whole thing. No point in sneaking out, mate. You've been well and truly rumbled. And if you think things are out of control in the air, wait until the holiday hits the ground.
Colombia's a dangerous country. Bad things happen.
We all know Colombia's got a colourful reputation, for sure. But throw in 4 lads on a gap year into the mix, with mucking about on the mind, and you've ordered yourself a cocktail of catastrophe.
We're gonna do it!
Say hello to Paddy Cartwright from Belfast.
We were in Cartagena in Colombia, and we were just kind of wandering around looking at what to do, and saw jet skis.
Ah, now the one thing I know about hiring jet skis is they come with strict health and safety rules.
The one thing they kept saying was stay as far apart as possible. Stay as far apart as possible. They didn't. We spoke a tiny bit of Spanish, and they spoke a tiny bit of English, but the one thing they kept saying was, you know, apart.
Yes, strict health and safety rules. But did they take those on board?
Okay, we're about to have a drag race. We've got these boys out here. Dad, you say that. Everyone get to Jack.
Yeah, that sounds a bit dangerous.
Yeah, I think it was kind of inevitable. I think it probably was going to happen. It It just depended who it was going to happen to. I was starting to turn and hit a wave, and it completely killed my speed. Nearly fell off the other end. I was about to shout, but nearly fell off. And as I turned around,
Oh, Jesus. Ah. Oh, my God. Ah.
It really isn't as bad as all that, is it? Oh, yes it is.
Oh, my God. Ah, it's out the plane. Oh, my God.
like I think the shock and adrenaline just hit me so quickly, and I was like, this is awesome, yeah, travelling, just been run over by a jet ski.
Oh, my leg is open. Oh, you can see my bone. You can see my tibia, Jack.
That looks nasty. I'm guessing the jet skiing's over for today. Time for the hospital.
So I could walk on it and things and move it. Like I had to walk to the taxi. There wasn't an ambulance running or anything. In the hospital, I put the needle in to numb the area around so they could start stitching it up. Whatever happened, the needle went in and I was like, whoa. And then started feeling a bit grim. I could see there was like a big chunk had come out of my leg, and then there was just a bit of white there. So I just kind of went, oh my, that's bone. That's real bad. It's gone all the way.
If you're wondering what's under that blur, it's a disgusting medical procedure far too harrowing to show. And the result was a scar for life in the shape of an L. L for legend. There is a victorious ending of sorts to this sorry tale, though.
A couple of days after it, we had to get a flight to get into Bogota, I think, and we managed to get me a wheelchair. So we were all the first ones on and off the plane. You know, there was a bit of a silver lining to it.
Okay, you nearly lost a leg, but you did get free speedy boarding. Now that's what I call getting your priorities right. Now, from summer hotspots to somewhere even cooler. Take a look at this guy on a snowmobile, in top gear and racing to the top of this snowy hill. But what happens next? Let's find out. Well, there's no better way to test a new snowmobile than by driving it full pelt towards a blind summit. It's not just the snow that's thick at this resort. Crikey, is that guy okay? Give us a signal. Any signal.
Woo!
Oh yeah, he's okay. Just another stupid guy with a smartphone. But on the ski slopes, holidaymakers are filming more tricks, more stunts, and more fails than ever before. If you're lucky, your daredevil antics will go viral and you'll be immortalized.
Oh, God.
Or in this guy's case,
Oh, no.
hospitalized. He was fine.
Oh, God.
Eventually.
Oh, no.
Now, it's important to make an impression on the slopes, but at least dress for the weather. Looking at that, it must be very, very cold, if you know what I mean. All fun and games on the way down, but he's got to get back up again somehow, and I shudder to think where his lift pass is. Mind you, it's not just skiers. Now here's a chairlift going bananas. This terrifying incident in Georgia saw scared skiers left at the mercy of malfunctioning machinery. Stuck in reverse and barreling down the mountain at twice its usual speed, it's no wonder these skiers are as white as snow. It looks so dangerous. Thankfully, the skier who filmed this made sure they kept way back, instead of helping and risk being whacked by a flying human. Amazingly, there were only 11 mild injuries. But it was a truly horrific incident. Although on the plus side, the queues were a bit shorter the next morning. With more smartphones, drones and action cams on the piste than ever before, skiers just can't resist showing off. But not every attempt to dazzle on the slopes meets with success, as Jenny Lothrop from Derbyshire discovered on a trip to the Alps.
So, we were off on a ski holiday to La Plagne in France. I was going with kind of 8 or 9 friends. I was raring to go and I was determined to show that I was one of the better skiers of the group. We were all having a great time. I was like zipping down the mountain, being like, yeah, I'm one of the best ones here, like watch me go. Like I'd never felt so confident skiing.
I think you know where this is heading, even if Jenny didn't. As the famous saying goes, pride comes before an almighty balls up.
There was this jump that people were doing. It was like just kind of a tiny little jump, like not much of a jump at all. So I watched a bunch of people do it. Some of my friends went ahead of me and I was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm gonna do this.
Famous last words.
My friend JC goes, and I'm watching him and I'm like, he's doing it fine, and he had like a little bit of a wobble. I think at this point I actually say, oh, I'm gonna fall over. I'm gonna fall over.
Yes, you did, Jenny. Nothing wrong with your memory.
I'm scared!
Oh, aye, you should be. Ouch! No wonder Jenny can't bear to watch it. It's just too painful. So obviously, we showed it to her.
Oh God. I just wish I could go back and not do it. Oh!
Oh, brutal! She'll want to put some ice on that.
Don't make me watch it again, please.
Absolutely not, Jenny. Oh, what am I saying? Roll it again.
It's literally like a 180.
Yes, 180, or in skiing terms, arse over tit.
I didn't pass out, but instantly I felt this pain down my back and I couldn't move.
And the worst was yet to come.
The GoPro actually went flying as well.
Not the GoPro. Anything but the GoPro.
It just kind of lands in the snow. And then a few minutes later, my friend Mike comes along and has obviously found it, and you just see him kind of smudge the snow off the screen.
Thank God, the camera's safe. By the way, how was Jenny?
This was probably the most embarrassing part, was they came with their kind of trolley sledge thing that they put me in, and they were lifting me up, and they managed to like put me up to sitting. And then they were trying to put me back down, and I couldn't, my back would not go back down again.
That trolley sledge thing is called a stretcher, Jenny. And sadly, despite doctors' attempts after that, she went downhill fast.
So I was being pulled down but I was with my head up.
At least it's still connected to your shoulders.
Everybody just stops and stares at you, and you're kind of like, yeah, you're the idiot that had the accident on the mountain that is being lifted down the mountain on a sledge.
Well, at least this idiot filmed it for us. You'll be happy to know her back and GoPro are both better now, even if her pride is still a bit sore. But if you think the skiers are reckless, there's one bunch that really take the piece. Snowboarders. Oh dear, he absolutely did not see that coming. They could really use warning lights this lot, couldn't they? In fact, he had right of way. There's a strict highway code on the slopes drawn up by the International Ski Federation. The snowboarder coming from behind was supposed to get out of the way. Yep, categorically that was a hit and run. A red run by the looks of it. So, if you're at the back, look out for your fellow skiers. Take it nice and slow. I said take it slow. Well, if there's such a thing as a snow claims bonus on the slopes, you've just lost it, fella. And speaking of losing it, this hapless boarder has ploughed straight into an unsuspecting woman. And he's getting a lot of French stick from her husband. And I'm not talking about baguettes. Easy. in meltdown. Like these guys. They say fire and ice don't go together. Welcome to the exception. Look at them go. What skill, what talent, what discipline. Guys, I have to say, that was hot stuff. And now for the big finale. Here he comes. Well, that chump's not going to set the world on fire. Might ignite his salopets, though. There might have been a reason the other guys did the jump on skis. I guess he didn't get the memo. Time for a spot of boating now. And let's kick off with an oldie. But it's a goodie. This was filmed on a trip across the lake in Missouri, USA. So sit back, hold tight and enjoy a nautical wipeout at its very finest. The bald guy hits the deck like a shop dummy during the January sales. And as for that other guy's sunglasses, they flew right off his head. Must have been aviators. That really took the wind out of their sails. Is everyone okay? The bloke at the back is a bit seasick. Everyone else must be well jealous. They look like they lost their teeth. Right, head count. There were 7 of them on the way out, and now there's only 6. Has anyone seen the captain? There he is, thank goodness. Otherwise, they'd have no one to sue. Thankfully, everyone on that boat was okay. But for a vacation that's a little more smooth sailing, we might recommend a boat where things move at a more leisurely pace. No, this fella hasn't got trapped wind. We're going cruising, like 26 million other holidaymakers worldwide, including a growing number of millennials. A more gentle and refined break you couldn't ask for, right? Whoa, ladies! It all kicked off aboard the Anthem of the Seas when these catfighting cruisers went for each other in the cafeteria. Brings a whole new meaning to the phrase ship's decking. We showed this to someone who's been on the front lines.
That honestly is a prime example of exactly what happens on a cruise ship. People have too much sun, the weather, the tension of the entire cruise ship just gets to them and they just end up having a fight. And it happens way more often than people think it does.
Looks like this fight is going overboard. What they need is someone with a cool, calm head on their shoulders to help mediate this volatile situation in a measured manner.
You grabbed hold of her, you hit her, so you assaulted her, love.
Ah, so not him then.
And the fact that they're drinking alcohol from the minute they get up to the minute they go to bed, and they can get it, so they do, and they just drink all night.
Now we want to make this absolutely clear. We're not saying that bunch are drunk. But they are definitely cruising for a bruising. However, this chap looks like he's been taking advantage of the all-inclusive bar, but he's not actually been on the sauce. This passenger managed to hold his camera steady enough to film the kind of storm described by nautical experts as bloody terrifying. Now that's what I call the high seas. The brochure promised sea views, but I don't think that's what the guys filming this signed up for. But you'd pay good money to go underwater like this at Sea Life, so swings and roundabouts. They say if you feel seasick, just keep your eyes on the horizon. Only really works, though, if there actually is a horizon. Whenever you set sail on a massive lump of ship, what you don't want is to find yourself adrift off the coast of Mexico after a fire in the engine room kills all the power. Yes, including the electricity. But guess what? That's exactly what happened to these passengers, who found themselves filming a trip aboard the Carnival Triumph that can only be described as a stinker.
The engines give the electricity for the ship, which everything requires electricity on the ship, such as the toilets. The toilets on the ship, they're all powered by electricity, the same as like the airplanes. And if you don't have it, you haven't got that sound of.
Well, you end up with one stinky lavvy.
And this is our lovely bathroom with a sewer that's going back and forth as we rock.
Is that the captain's log?
Smell of urine as well as people's, I shouldn't say shit. It wasn't pleasant at all, especially when you're walking down the corridors and you were walking in it. Walking around your flip-flops and you're like, oh.
That's disgusting. I mean, we're in flip-flops. So, stranded 150 miles out at sea and with no flushing toilets, the passengers renamed this ship the Poop Cruise. And you wouldn't believe the crap the passengers had to put up with coming out the ship's tannoy.
Very important information, folks, on the toilet system here on board. As you probably know by now, the toilets are not flushing and it's going to start causing a little bit of a problem in a short while. So we've come up with a plan.
Oh, thank God! There's a plan.
So, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to deliver some red bags to all of the bathrooms on board. And if you do need to do a number 2, we ask that you please do deposit that into the red bags.
Poo in a bag? That's the plan. Well, the good news is it doesn't actually count as part of your baggage allowance.
If you need to do a number 2, you need to poop, please do it in the red bag and drop it off in the bins in the corridors.
Okay. How's this actually going to work?
Presumably they dump them on the poop deck.
It end up being everyone getting the small little bins and just sitting on the bin and pooping into that, and you're like, okay. You have to be able to balance, or you're on the floor.
I know it's not the best scenario, folks, but it seems like the best option that we have right now.
Not the best scenario? That's an understatement.
You have some people demand you off the ship, and you're like, but there is nowhere you can go.
Prop the door open to get some air.
Good thinking, madam.
When it came to the third day, people were thinking, okay, we're never going to get home. We are stuck here.
Basically, they turned the ship into one big floater. And with those little red bags piling up, the passengers aboard the Poop Cruise found themselves taking extreme measures to escape their predicament.
Just like a refugee camp in the end. Everyone was outside mostly. If you couldn't find somewhere outside, you'll be sleeping under the stairwells.
After 5 days of holding their breath and their noses, the passengers were rescued, but all would agree it was a memorable cruise for all the wrong reasons. The operators later apologised for the accident and said it certainly wasn't something they would want their guests to experience. But if you are planning a trip on a cruise ship, I'd give it 5 minutes. Coming up, we're getting our teeth into the animals we see on holiday. Just like these tourists on a lovely day trip in Mexico. They've got their camera phones out to film dolphins at play in their natural habitat. But what happens next? Let's have a look, shall we? Now, if there's one thing we love about going on holiday, it's getting up close and personal with the local wildlife. Makes your heart swell for these majestic but endangered animals, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. I thought they were supposed to be intelligent creatures, for flip's sake. But he's fine. Till he ends up in a tuna net. Right, where were we? Oh yes, animals. There are some truly dangerous critters out there to spice up your holiday adventures, all right? In fact, just like this highly venomous diamondback rattlesnake the guy in this clip has come up against while out hiking.
I am afraid to move. I am frozen in my tracks right now.
Frozen in your tracks? I'd be crapping in my pants. That snake's venom could kill you in just a few hours.
All I did is sit down to take a little breather. And crawling out of the brush over to my left was this guy. And I don't know what to do.
You could ask the cameraman to help you.
And try to blow on him to get him to move.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Blow on it.
He's He's not moving at all.
Whatever you do, don't touch his tail.
Oh, I'm gonna try to touch his tail.
No, I said don't touch his tail. What, are you crazy? That's the rattly bit. Have you never seen a cowboy film?
He sees me.
Oh my God! You said it, mate.
I do not want to move right now. I am shaking. I need to find something to poke him with. Whoosh.
Look at the balls on that guy. Mind you, his trousers are quite tight.
This is the dangers of sitting in the wild and not taking a moment just to observe your surroundings. Oh. Come on, go the other way. Go the other way. I don't know what to do, I think.
I told you. Ask your mate filming this for a bit of help. I could swear he's not listening to me.
Come on, go the other way. Yeah. Is he gone?
Yeah, he's gone. Quick, leg it!
Whoa.
But not everyone's trying to get away from these critters. Some nutters are using their smartphones to get closer.
I'm so friggin' excited right now. We're in the Everglades. We've only been here for like an hour and already we've got about a 10-foot female alligator here. It's a bit hard to tell there, but there we go. What a beauty.
He's Scott Adams, exotic animal zookeeper from Telford, an all-round fan of dangerous beasts.
Doesn't matter if I'm having a day off or a holiday, it always seems to end up revolving around animals, whether I'm flying off to Madagascar to explore the rainforests or just having a day in a zoo. Seems like I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment.
But Scott's main animal passion is for the snappy variety.
Oh, big one in front.
I'm quite a fan of crocodiles and alligators. A bit too much of a fan, actually. I've even been unlucky enough to be bit by an alligator. I know how dangerous they can be. Yeah, I could show you a few good videos and pictures.
Ooh, nasty.
Before we got married, I managed to get bit at the zoo by about a 5-foot alligator, which put me in hospital and left me in a right state. So I was in stitches for the wedding. Whoops.
Probably not the kind of wedding snaps your bride had in mind. Still, Scott lived to tell the tale. But will these boaters who filmed their holiday in Botswana be so lucky?
Oh, what a big, huge.
Relax, chaps. It's probably just a log.
Coming around, coming around.
Okay, it's not a log.
It's coming this way. Okay, can I just get the paddle?
Yeah, get the paddle, get the paddle. If we lose that, we're up this creek without, well, a paddle. I read on the internet it's more afraid of you than you are of it. Note to self, don't trust anything you read on the internet, ever.
Yes, that thing looked me in the eye, man.
That is an absolutely massive crocodile from where I'm sitting. What do you think, Scott?
That is an absolutely massive crocodile, isn't it?
Thanks, Scott. Are we sure he's an expert?
Coming around.
Coming at him quite fast as well, so it's looking pretty aggressive. Coming at him at this speed, it's probably not coming to eat them.
Try telling these guys that. I think they probably need to turn the boat around and get up the river and make it snappy. What do you think, Scott?
I think they probably need to turn the boat around and get up the river and make it snappy.
Oi, Winkle, I'll do the funnies. That's better. Here's another one. And it's a British holidaymaker going for a relaxing lakeside stroll in Australia. But boy, is she in for a surprise.
That looks like an angry little crocodile. It is actually quite a small crocodile in the grand scheme of things. It's kind of a little bit of a tiddler, but that's probably about the size of the crocodile that bit me, so I think that it's definitely something that you'd want to watch out for, and definitely something, if you were a young girl filming a fish, that's the last thing that you'd be expecting to see.
So we've learned an important lesson today, haven't we, class? If you want to see some animals on holiday, the best place is in the zoo. Or even better, on television. But it's not just the local wildlife our holidaymakers are shooting. They're also out on excursions, filming the sights, the sounds, the culture.
All right, good.
Yeah, you can do it.
This lady has gone to visit the famous Cu Chi tunnels used in the Vietnam War.
Wow.
There she goes, ducking down. She ducks in with no trouble at all.
Slowly.
Getting out again, though,
Oh.
is more of a struggle. The tunnels are only 80 centimetres tall and 50 centimetres wide. Not being rude, madam, but those aren't your dimensions. The hips don't lie. When she burned off lunch, she was slim enough to climb out. Now, when it comes to excursions, there's one place that's got it all. Egypt. But for one geezer in Giza, Tommy Allen, this view wasn't quite close enough.
So my tour guides just told me that I won't be able to climb the smallest of the 3 pyramids of Giza.
Whenever I get challenged to do something, I have to prove them wrong. So I was like, yeah, I will, I can.
So here goes.
Saying you can't do something isn't the same as challenging you. But next thing you know, Tommy's up the pyramid like a mountain goat. But there's a catch. You see, the Egyptian fuzz, or should that be fez, don't take too kindly to people climbing all over their irreplaceable ancient monuments. You could get up to 3 years in jail.
Well, I've heard about the conditions in Egyptian prisons, and it's not nice.
Despite the threat of incarceration, Tommy tackled this 51-degree incline like a champ and caught on his action cam a view from 65 metres up, seen by only a handful of people in the history of the planet.
As soon as I got to the top and looked over the other side and saw how small the people were at the bottom, I thought, wow, this is really dangerous. I can't remember the numbers, but I think maybe 50 people had died in the last 100 or 200 years falling off.
That's amazing. There have been 50 people in the world as stupid as him. I thought he was a one-off.
Which is why there's quite a lot of bad language in the video.
Fuck me. Fuck.
So that's what they mean by the curse of the pharaohs. But if you think going up looks scary, Tommy reckons going down is even scarier.
One step at a time.
When you're going up, you're facing the pyramid, but you can't do that when you go down because you have to see where you're walking. So I kind of had to slide my bum off the edge of each stone and get my foot in right as I was on the way down.
The biggest wonder of the world is that he didn't fall off. But if he thinks he's got a sore bum sliding down the stones, just wait till he gets in an Egyptian prison shower, because Egypt's finest were waiting for him at the bottom.
I didn't know how much trouble I'd be in when I got down. Sharif, my tour guide, was arguing with the police. They were shouting at him. He said that they want to take your camera, they want to take you to prison. They're saying about taking me to prison for letting you up there.
Yeah, well, my tour guide said I'll challenge you to climb the smallest of the 3, so...
He was just like, they want money.
3 years in a foreign slammer, or the cash alternative? I'll take the money.
In the end, I paid about 100 Egyptian pounds.
They're not stupid, those pyramid police.
Which worked out to be about a tenner.
What? They're well stupid, those pyramid police.
It was worth it. It was worth it in the end for a tenner.
Admittedly, the view you shared was out of this world. But we have to ask, why didn't you climb the biggest one?
The other one is just gigantic, and I was eyeing it up, but on many sides it's very, very crumbly, and I just thought it's going to take me an hour or so to get up to the top of that one.
I suppose you're right. You'd have to be a complete nutter to attempt that one, or a fanatical German.
Hi, I'm Andre, and I've been to the top of the world's biggest pyramid.
In probably the most blatant example of one-upmanship since records began, Andrei Ciesielski from Munich in Germany decided to climb all 146 metres of the Great Pyramid of Giza. That is what you call the height of stupidity.
It was a really long way, and I never thought I'm going to make it to the top because the stairs, they were so huge.
Who'd have thought? What with it being called the Great Pyramid and everything?
I enjoyed a few moments, of freedom, and then I went down because the police already spotted me when I climbed to the top, and I think they probably freaked out a little bit.
Exciting stuff. And surely Tommy the Brit has got nothing but the utmost respect for his Teutonic pyramid climbing rival.
I think he's copycat.
Ah, maybe not.
Because he does the same things in the video as I did in mine, like how he put his arms up.
Yeah, he's got a point. Look. Or maybe he was just balancing and didn't want to fall off.
He may have been higher up, but he didn't have the same view as I did on that day.
Fair enough, mate, but you got fined. He only got a slap on the wrist. Isn't that right, Andre?
Also, I'm banned from Egypt, so I won't be able to go back there.
My mistake. He got himself banned. Which is a shame, as our young German friend had probably reserved his place at the top of the pyramid with a beach towel. Let's call it a draw, shall we, chaps? You're both as dumb as each other. But if you want to reach dizzy heights without that kind of effort, you could do worse than take an excursion to the fun fair. But I'll warn you, some of the rides aren't for the faint-hearted. Like this slingshot in Florida. The slingshot has had riders questioning their mortality since it was invented in 1978. It flings punters 100 metres into the air at almost 160 kilometres an hour. Right, ladies, hold on tight. Hey, potty mouth, you might want to check on your friend. I think she's nodded off. I'm joking, she's not nodded off. What's actually going on is the gravitational forces have affected this young lady's blood flow, meaning that her brain isn't getting quite enough oxygen to, stay with us for any meaningful length of time. Here, someone give her a nudge. And she's back in the room. And she's left again. Right, I think that's enough. You've dribbled in the seat. Definitely not the worst you could have done in it, but still. Now it's time to see what our holidaymakers get up to when under the influence of the demon drink. Have a look at this girl trying to get around him and see if you can work out what happens next. Right, let's see. We showed you this girl trying to get the party started by ordering 4 sambucas and also some drinks for our friends. But what happened next? Well, there's a reason that one slightly less drunk fella's filming her. It's because she's just tried to buy drinks from him, from the DJ. Sorry, love, the DJ isn't doing that sort of mixing. He points her to the bar, and she responds with directions of her own. Mind you, she's not the only one with booze brain. They're pissed up, and that DJ must be slightly pissed off. Yep, when it comes to drunken holiday antics, British holidaymakers are in a league of their own. And thanks to smartphones, all the embarrassing hookups and gruesome injuries that result from having a skinful down the Nag's Head in San Antonio can now be recorded so that future generations can marvel at our stupidity. It seems as though this girl has been enjoying some liquid refreshment with her pals on holiday. Well, it's no surprise. They're having a lovely picnic by the lake in brilliant sunshine. Also, she seems to be getting very heated about something or other. All in all, I'd say she needs to cool off. That'll do it. Let that be a lesson to us all about the dangers of drinking while on holiday. And just to make sure we've all learned that lesson, let's see it again. The odd brewski makes holidaymakers think they have superhuman abilities, like the kind exhibited by this Russian balcony climber. I'm not sure if he has been knocking it back, but this certainly looks like something you'd attempt after one too many vodkas. What a rascal. I hope he's not got vertigo. That would make him a dizzy rascal. Sorry, that was painful. And so was that. He was fine. But our next holidaymaker ended up a lot further away than in the bushes. Davy McCallum, part-time wrestler, full-time Glaswegian, recently had a somewhat spontaneous holiday experience that started when he hit his favourite watering hole in the lookout for his fellow grapplers, who were nowhere to be seen. So, being on his own, he decided to call it a night, right?
Once I realised that the wrestlers weren't there, I started to get quite a bit of drink in me. The last thing I remember is getting in a taxi, and then that's pretty much where my night ended.
Might be where his night ended, but Davy's adventure had just begun. The next day brought quite a surprise when he had to wrestle with his memory.
Oh man, I'm rough as fuck. Woke up in my dodgy hotel room, man, it was trashed, so I just ran out.
Davy didn't know where the hell he was, but at least he hadn't lost his phone, meaning he could film his confusion.
So I went outside, I noticed the place was looking a wee bit different.
We've all been there, waking up in unfamiliar surroundings after a night on the tiles. But Davy got so drunk in Glasgow, he reckoned he'd ended up almost 50 miles away.
I think I'm in Edinburgh or something, man, because there's no trams about the place.
In Edinburgh? That's practically a foreign country. But it gets worse.
I'm going to ask somebody whereabouts in Edinburgh, man. Excuse me, mate, where are we right now? Where are we? We're training. Shit, he doesn't talk English.
No need to panic, Davy. That's what a lot of people think when they speak to you.
Because I'm so Scottish and so, like, I've got a really thick Glaswegian accent, I thought maybe the person just didn't understand and just, like, walked by.
Yeah, it's not just your accent that's thick, Davy. But then, the penny finally dropped.
Excuse me, big man, where are we right now? Where are we?
Where are we?
Aye.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam? Where? No chance, no. He didn't just say Amsterdam, did he?
Yes, clever clogs, he did. Amsterdam, over 400 miles away, in Holland.
That was not Edinburgh.
No, you see, this is Scotland, full of men with beards who are very noisy. And this is Holland. Scotland, Holland. Are you sure you're not pulling our leg?
What fucking day is it? I've lost track of time. Oh no, toots, man. How the fuck do I even afford to get to fucking Amsterdam?
I've got a better question. How the hell did you end up there in the first place?
So I had to start piecing things together. I checked my emails and stuff like that. It turns out I'd booked a flight. Now KLM, I had a message from them basically saying something about a last minute offer.
And Davy obviously remembered his passport, if not anything else about the night in question.
It's all fun and games when you're black in your mate's house and you're waking up in your bed for a sick or something like that, or you're waking up in your bathtub, or you're waiting in your mate's garden or something like that. It's all fun and games. And you're waking up 2 hours away in a plane. I mean, it's a bit scary.
Well, it's a tall tale, you have to admit. But we haven't actually touched on the worst thing about Davy's impromptu vacation.
I've lost my hat and all.
Hang on. You've lost your memory, and you're more concerned with losing your hat.
That's the one good thing that's came through the story. I managed to get the hat replaced, and it's actually the hat I'm wearing's better.
Well, at least he got a new hat to go with his cracking hangover. That's it for now. And please remember, whatever you get up to on holiday, make sure your phone is fully charged and your camera is at the ready. Now, go knock yourself out. Goodbye. Get ready for the trip of a lifetime. This is the series with the most incredible and shocking holiday behaviour. Capturing stupid antics on smartphones. With a camera in every tourist pocket, we're getting into the action like never before. Raw, real, and uncensored. This is World's Wildest Holidays. Coming up, we've got hell-raising hens, stunningly stupid stags, and the world's most dangerous holidaymaker.
3-4 days earlier, been seeing my blokes on a building site. 3 days later, I'm watching a battle go off.
When we go on holiday, it's great to try new experiences. Different food, different scenery, and of course, different wildlife. Like monkeys, for instance. Aw, isn't he cuddly? But the thing about that monkey is, there's only one of him. When there's 500 of him, they're not so cute. This is Thailand, where every evening hundreds of monkeys hang about looking for trouble. Yeah, probably smoking weed and Snapchatting rude photos to each other. They're not too much bother when they're all just sitting still, but when the fireworks go off, it's monkey mayhem. Yes, our hairy cousins can be big trouble for holidaymakers, especially when they think you've got cheesy whatsits hidden in your pants. Oh, the bare-faced cheek of it. Anytime you want to pull your pants up's fine. No pressure. But why steal bananas on the beach when there's luxury accommodation available down the road?
No, don't steal it.
When the holidaying couple returned to their hotel room in Mexico, this lanky sod was trying to break into the minibar.
Oh, there's a monkey in our room. Come on, go.
Ah, right. Bit of manspreading now, is it?
Get out.
I mean, macaques, I can take them or leave them. Marmosets I've got a lot of time for. But spider monkeys, oh God, they are so arrogant.
You know, whip it? He's just gonna grab it.
Yeah, very relaxed. Oh, but he is not leaving until he gets a gin and tonic and a Toblerone. At least that monkey didn't smash the place up. When South African Howard Fyvie rented a house in the country with some friends, he hadn't reckoned on hairy neighbours from hell.
This is a holiday I will never forget, and I have the footage to prove it. Okay, we have a whole bunch of baboons inside this house.
Hang on, what did he say?
Okay, we have a whole bunch of baboons inside this house.
Balloons? Inside a house?
I realized something was wrong the moment I heard a scream coming from outside. One of my friends runs into the house and says, "Guys, the neighbor's house is being invaded by a troop of baboons."
Oh, baboons, of course.
Here we have some baboons in a kitchen, just hanging out. So me and my friend Robin and Brian, we run outside and we grab whatever we can around us to go and fight off these baboons.
Ah, the broom of baboon doom. But unless the absent owners had left the baboons with their own set of keys, they must have found their way in somehow.
You see, the neighbors had made a fatal error. They were away for the weekend and they left one window in their house open. So me and my friends run across, we get to the house and we realize that the baboons have been invading for some time. The baboons are in the kitchen, they're on the counters, they're eating through the fridge, they're opening up cans of food, fruit, packets of chips. They're having a field day.
What did you expect they were going to do? Wash up after themselves? When faced with a house full of feasting baboons, most of us would let them get on with trashing the house next door. But not Howard. He reckons he can take them.
So me and my friends decided, let's climb inside and let's get those baboons out. Y'all better recognize who's here tonight. Get out of here. Get out of here. Huh? You want to play with my piece of cat, yo?
What does a monkey professional make of the baboon's beastly behaviour?
These monkeys probably be like a group of males that are roaming around together, and they are going to be like a gang. They're going around stealing things, causing trouble, fighting with other gangs of baboons. So, you know, these guys are going to be het up on testosterone. They're going to be looking for a fight, and they'd be happy to do it with a human as well.
Unluckily for the baboons, Howard and his mates' hormones were raging too.
It's true, they are dangerous. They can even rip the arms off a full-grown human being. But in the words of Han Solo, never tell me the odds.
The odds are 2 to 1 you get your arm ripped off. Your call, Howard.
Get out of here. Huh? You want to play with my piece of cat, yo? Get that out of here. Was I afraid? Yes. Did I have time to think about being afraid? Hell no. I just ran in there with my broom.
Armed only with a broom and an attitude, he was out to show those baboons who was boss. And for now, it seemed to be working.
Hey, good sec.
But, like any good action movie, in the final act, Howard had to come face to face with the ringleader of this home-trashing gang.
In the end, it was me and one remaining alpha male baboon.
Okay. I still see one of the big ones down here.
So I go downstairs and I find him hiding in the bathroom. He's got a piece of cabbage or something.
Okay, this is the last baboon in the house. He's not afraid.
And I take the broom and I'm like,
come on, get out of here. Get out of here. You want to play with us?
He is talking to it like it's definitely going to understand him, and I'm pretty sure that it doesn't understand a word he's saying. In fact, to him, he's just making lots of noise and probably agitating him even more.
Out that door! Out that door now!
Suddenly, he barks at me. And I suddenly get really, really scared. At that moment, I realized it's not a good idea to corner a full-grown baboon on holiday. Not a good idea.
Warning, poking an angry baboon with a broom can be fatal.
I'm gonna step out for a second. You just take care.
Yeah, Howard, you're right. He's not really doing any harm, is he? Probably just borrowing some moisturizer or something.
He's still inside there. There we go. He's out. He's out. He's out. That man rocks.
Eventually, even the biggest baboon in the jungle realized it was time to make an exit. But when he put his video up on YouTube, Howard and his housebreaking baboons were a worldwide hit.
This was one wild holiday. Man, for months afterwards, everybody kept calling me the baboon guy. My friends would like mock me and say, ah, you're the guy who went on holiday and got attacked by baboons. I'm never gonna let this down. This is one holiday I'm gonna be living with for the rest of my life.
It might have been wild, but was it wise to take on a troop of rampaging baboons?
If that ever does happen to you when you're on holiday, I think probably shut the door and leave the house. That would be my top tip, really.
But before we move on, here's another member of the animal kingdom caught on a camera phone, this time making friends with a young girl. Ah, that's nice. Can you guess what happened next? Let's find out. Lunchtime!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Perhaps he mistook her for a large cod in a dress.
Oh, right.
Happily, the girl was uninjured.
Wow. Are you all right?
Although the man who rescued her totally ruined his mobile phone. Thailand has been an A-list destination for those seeking adventure and excitement for decades. But as well as romantic landscapes and ancient temples, it's also the place to go if you're looking for an absolutely banging party. Once a month, 30,000 tourists get together on the island of Koh Phangan for a crazy time on the beach, with plenty of alcohol, dancing, and the chance to wear some really dodgy outfits in public. I mean, look at the state of them. When you're drunk in a foreign country wearing nothing but swimming shorts, it's probably very tempting to have a go at skipping over a massive burning rope. Oh, dear. Or just skip the party and go straight to the burns unit, whatever you prefer. Handily, there's no need to bother with toilets when you've got the entire ocean at your disposal. And after an evening of full moon fun, the taxi home can be a bit of an ordeal. And over she goes. At least she's still got her pants on. Unlike this couple, who were spotted canoodling in the sea near Pattaya Beach. Unfortunately for them, they were also spotted by the local police, who suspected them of having more than just a kiss and a cuddle. Reportedly, they were promptly arrested and fined for public indecency. The police did let them put some clothes on first, though, which was very generous. Half naked, in custody, and now laughed at by the local teenagers. What a cracking holiday. If you still fancy some fun in the water, maybe try one of the organised raft parties, where tourists pay good money to float around to a soundtrack of 15-year-old trance tunes. This form of entertainment is very eco-friendly. that's entirely powered by half-hearted twerking. It really is as much fun as it looks. Which isn't much. Let's move on, shall we? With some more floating. These two Brits realised they'd made a big mistake when they booked a cheap off-season holiday in Thailand in the middle of monsoon season. But they weren't going to let a little thing like a totally flooded street stop their fun. The hotel pool might be out of commission, but the kids' rubber rings they packed came in very handy. The great thing about this sport is that not only is there a high risk of drowning or being swept out to sea, there's a pretty good chance of dysentery too.
Get some cat tablets, okay? You do that, kid, I'm just gonna...
There's going against the flow, and then there's paddling upstream against a tide of sewage. Now, holidays in Thailand can take an unexpected turn. When Graham Holland went to visit his mother, what should have been a relaxing break soon turned into a nightmare in paradise when Graham had a terrible accident.
We had a lovely day, just nice chill-out music on the balcony, barbecue in front of my house, tables and chairs, nice food, couple of beers, good laugh, all good company.
Sounds like the perfect day.
And then in the evening, me and Graham lied down on my big king-size bed and started to watch a movie on Netflix, and I fell asleep.
But when Graham hopped on his moped to go back to the hotel, things quickly took a turn for the worse.
Next thing I woke up to my door being knocked. Really knocked. I thought, oh God, who's making that noise at this time? And then opened the door. Come now, Malia, come now, Malia. Graham's bike broken, Graham's broken, the bike's broken.
I was coming down and I was on the main road, so I had right away, and a taxi's pulled out. I remember pressing both brakes to avoid an accident, you know, and then bang.
He's hit the curb on the bike, and his head just bounced on his head on the pavement. So his head's took everything.
Oh, that sounds gruesome.
I split my head open and half my scalp was hanging off.
OK, Graham, I've got it.
Just flopped down and blood was splurting everywhere. It's like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, thanks, Maria.
My cousin Joe said he'd seen pictures and he said he'd seen my brain.
Yeah, that really is too much detail.
Had a big hole in the side of his face going up here.
Too much now.
Little in here.
My eyeball as well, like I think I've scraped my eyeball on the floor because all my skin's dead thin round here and that now on my eye.
I've got my fingers in my ears.
Face was black and blue.
Broke my neck.
Fractured spine.
Fractured my cheekbone.
Fractured jaw.
Yeah, also I lost my front tooth.
Put them back.
Gone.
Put them back. Thank you.
I'm hard as nails and I've seen some shit, but that was the worst. I was like 33 years old, but still my baby.
Although Graham's head was held together with sticky tape and his eyes had gone all weird, at least the hospital was near the beach. So that made up for everything.
Yeah, Thai hospitals are good, like the food were good and it's just nice having beach at front of the hospital, you know. To get out into the sun and get some food and then back to my bed.
Any final thoughts, Graham?
Best holiday I ever had, really, yeah. It was good.
I'd hate to hear what the worst holiday he'd ever had was. Graham might not remember the accident, but at least he had an idea which planet he was on. This bloke's got everything he needs for a cracking afternoon on a Thai beach. Day-glow shorts, check. Wacky glasses, check. Completely out of touch with reality, check. He's certainly enjoying the crack. Not sure anyone else is, though. So that's why it's called a full moon party. But inventing a whole new form of dancing isn't enough for this intrepid world explorer. Oh no. He's got another trick up his sleeve. Or down his pants. There's only one way to end the perfect day. Of course, salute the magnificent sunset by dancing into the sea with his trousers round his ankles. Keep going, mate. Keep going. That's it. Carry on. Keep going. Get in the sea. Travel is supposed to broaden the mind, but there's some experiences it's best to avoid. The Moss family wanted a nice, peaceful holiday, so they took a relaxing boat trip around the Thai Islands. Well, maybe not that relaxing.
We were travelling from Krabi to Phuket on a massive ferry. I actually had food poisoning the morning of us travelling there.
Thai food will do that. No surprises there, but what happened next was truly shocking.
I came out the toilet, I went upstairs and went and sat down inside. There was just black gushes of smoke coming past me. As I turned around, there was screams and blazes of, obviously, orange, red, just blazes of smoke, fire, gushing out of the back of the boat.
It turned out that sudden engine failure had turned the ferry into a ball of flames.
Things started to explode, and I think that's when we was like, we need to jump.
Your survival instincts, you're going to jump. You don't care what's in the water, you're just going to jump because you're trying to survive.
I can't swim, so it was to know that I was going to have to jump into this water, you know, and try and have to swim for my life.
But jumping from a burning boat is a dangerous business.
My mum actually got pushed under the boat, and then he actually went after her.
Pulled her out.
Yeah, pulled her the other side.
Everyone's in survival mode, so it's every man for themselves, basically. That's what it seems like.
After what must have seemed like an age in the water, help finally arrived. Sort of.
It's a speedboat and it came across. And then first thing he did was just whipped out his phone, started recording it. We were like, obviously, help, help, help. And he was just standing there recording it.
What a hero.
Eventually threw a rope out and they roped us all in, me, my mum, my sister.
And behaviour in the water sounds even worse.
This guy grabbed me and pulled me out of the way so then he can get onto the boat, and then a couple helped me get up. But yeah, he did grab me and got on the boat himself and didn't even help me.
They might have been out of the water, but the family were far from out of the water.
We couldn't find my dad, he was nowhere to be seen. And then, as we were on the speedboat, there was like an explosion on the boat, and we got really worried. And I was going to jump in to try and find my dad because I was worried sick. My mum literally stopped me, pulled me back, said you're not going in there, and then. As she did that, I actually spotted him with his hat on, just floating in the water. It was just a relief to see him alive, basically. More boats started coming out, so we went then to shore on that speedboat with Maisie and my mum. And
we was just all praying that Dad was going to come on another boat.
And yeah, eventually a boat came in and he was on it. You wouldn't think going on holiday in your travels that you'd be ending up in a boat fire at the end of your holidays, and you never know when your last day is going to be.
An extraordinary experience, but one that's not put the family off visiting the land of smiles in the future.
I'm not going to let one horrible thing
I might get on a
change my mind.
speedboat instead of a ferry.
Yeah, I'd just be worried about getting on a ferry, maybe not do that.
When people are about to get married, they can't wait to get on a plane with their mates, fly somewhere hot and get down to some serious stag and hen partying. And camera phone in hand, it usually involves dressing up and drinking games. This Spanish bar has come up with a perfect cocktail of the two for visiting grooms. The necessary ingredients are a tin hat on the lucky chap, a barmaid standing on the bar, and lots of heavy metal objects. Game on! There's drink one, smoothly down. And his reward is... a bash on the bones with an ice bucket. Well, he only seems partially concussed by that, so what's next? shovel? What kind of bar keeps a shovel handy? The champ's still standing. How much punishment can he take? This next cocktail is called the fire extinguisher. Why? Because when you drink it, bang! You get a fire extinguisher chaser. Hit him again. One more. OMG, he's still in the game! What's the barmaid got for a finale? Of course, an oil drum. Every cocktail bar has one, they just don't tell you about it. I think he might have a bit of a headache in the morning. And the morning after that. And the morning after that. At least for that drinking game, he had some sort of protection. All this unfortunate stag had to rely on was the strength of his face. Knockout! Next time, maybe just a quiet half a shandy, eh? It's not just stag parties that get up to weird drinking games. This bride-to-be has gone abroad for her hen do and possibly gone a bit overboard on celebrations. This is the traditional sport of bridal table clambering. It's not as easy as it looks. Oh, she's lost her drink. And her dignity. A stag do classic now. We've come across loads of people doing this prank. It must be absolutely hilarious. I can't wait. So, what have we got? Right, I see. They've got the stag all dressed up, okay? And he's blindfolded. And they've told him he's doing a bungee. They've even got a proper instructor roped in. This is going to be great. Don't you dare go anywhere.
All right, so whenever you're ready, just pull. It's up to you. Right, cool. So do you want to do us a countdown?
5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Is that it? Is that really the best they could come up with for a stag do? I wouldn't hold your breath for the best man speech. At least that guy wasn't trying to annoy anyone. Unlike this man, these staggers have come up with a way to embarrass the groom and everyone else on the plane.
Come on, everyone.
A little sing-song. That's irritating, but not that bad. Ah, hot pants, high heels. Can it get any worse? Of course it can. Twerking. Having said that, some of the passengers seem to be quite enjoying it. Especially the men. Like that guy in the white vest. Tell you what, he has got some smooth moves. Definitely more fun than the standard pre-flight safety briefing. Getting into trouble on a stag or hen do. Well, it goes with the territory. But some people are already getting the party started before they've even left the tarmac. This Ryanair flight from Alicante to Liverpool is yet to take off. But one hen party seem to be taking offence at being told where to put their hand luggage. This hennish behaviour means the other passengers are stuck on the tarmac until someone backs down. Luckily for us, one of them had his camera at the ready. Keep an eye on the lady with the big earrings, because this is a face-off. Cabin crew versus hen party.
This is quite funny, this.
This could still go either way. Maybe they've been in the sun a little bit too long. That can make you cranky. I'm still trying to work out how they got these earrings through security.
Get your bag, get your bag.
And that's it. It's all over. You know, you may want to look at your life choices when you get a round of applause for getting off a plane. It's a victory for the cabin crew. And the plucky hens weren't quite so chirpy when reportedly the Spanish police were waiting to arrest and breathalyze them. Bet it's going to be a really fun wedding. That's enough stagging and henning caught on camera for now. But before we move on, cast your eyes over this. When these lads on holiday were on their way back from a rowdy weekend away, they'd stashed a surprise in their mate's bag. Can you guess what happened next? Ah, of course. It's a dildo strapped to a water bottle. That old trick. Trust airport security. They'll only stop you when you're carrying a dangerously huge dildo if it's strapped to a bottle with over 100 millilitres of liquid. Hey, rules are rules. He would have put it in the amnesty bin, but the slot wasn't big enough.
Hey, I want that back. I paid good money for that.
When people go on holiday with a load of mates, normal rules seem to go out of the window. For some reason, it often involves overindulging in cheap holiday alcohol and misbehaving. And it turns out Brits are very good at coming up with innovative new ways of doing both. Why not stick a camera on the end of the bottle so you can have a video memento of mental behaviour? A great idea. You can watch it back and see who gave you that cold sore. Some clever holidaymakers don't even need their hands. This is not easy. Technique is everything here. Well, she's obviously been practicing at home. And that's it. Down in one. She does that at every party. It's certainly livened up her nan's wake. Holiday misbehaviour doesn't have to be drinking-based. This man was set up by his mates with a lap dance. No one could have predicted what would happen next. Apart from his mate...
The chair's gonna break.
Oh! Who did? You should ask for a refund, fella. I reckon that chair was faulty. And when the evening ends, holidaymakers all need something to soak up the alcohol. But the fast food restaurant isn't always a safe haven from bad behaviour.
So we've gone over to Benidorm. I think we'd been there 3 or 4 days. We decided we were going to call it an early night, and that's why we went over to the chicken shop to go and get our food quite early.
When it kicked off in a Benidorm KFC, Luke had his camera phone ready. These British holidaymakers were all minding their own business in the queue. But somebody said the wrong thing, and very soon it was chicken buckets at dawn. There was no way terrible violence like this could continue. And the brave staff were quick to get involved and try to stop it. Someone's still trying to get their order in. But suddenly, there were scuffles breaking out all over the restaurant. But once the staff got organised, the punching turned to wrestling. It's not exactly what I call a happy meal, but eventually it all calmed down and nobody was hurt. There's Luke, the man with the camera. He looked like he enjoyed it. As a martial artist, what did he make of this deep-fried dust-up?
People just jumped into the melee from all over, pushing each other. A lot of schoolyard sort of thing you see when you're 7 or 8, you know, bumping into each other. Most of the punches were what we would call in the game arm punches, where you just throw in with your fists rather than getting your whole body into it. They all had the chins high in the air. There was no real technique there. One point, I think it was after the video, one of the staff, he went back behind the counter and he came back with, all I could see was a shiny metal object in his hand. So I thought, oh no, he's going to get a knife. But it turned out it was a spatula. And he actually hit someone over the head with a spatula. And I just thought of a Monty Python clip or some sort of John Cleese hitting someone in Fawlty Towers or something like that. It was hilarious, to be honest. I'm actually upset that I didn't catch that on camera, because that would have been hilarious.
Remember, fighting in KFC is never a good idea. Much better to just get some spicy wings. When we go on holiday, most people are looking for a bit of sun, a bit of a laugh, and some decent accommodation. So what does our next holidaymaker want from his hotel room?
I only have a hotel room on the bottom floor near an exit door, so I can get out. I will memorise and learn all the routes to the airport.
Blimey, that is picky. Why? Well, it's because this man is Andrew Drury, danger tourist. When he's not running a building firm in Guildford, he likes to travel to countries that most of us would pay money to avoid. But just how dangerous is he?
The place I've been to, I've travelling over 25 years, but it's closer to 30. I've been to over 100 countries. Korea, Somalia, Iran, Iraq, the Bosnian War, Chechnya, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Libya. Anywhere you think that's had a war, I've been there.
Yep, they all sound pretty dangerous. And one of his favourite holiday destinations is Mogadishu, the capital of war-torn Somalia. Like most tourists, when Andrew visits a new place, he's keen to take in the sights. In Mogadishu, it's a bit more hardcore than a trip to Madame Tussauds, and you need armed guards. There's the monument to the unknown soldier, with added bullet holes. There's the downed Russian freight plane on the main road. And of course, the local market, where the food could not be fresher. Mate, you could just go to Paris, you know. They've got the Eiffel Tower. Ah, suit yourself. After a tiring morning of sightseeing, like all of us, Andrew likes to kick back on the beach.
Mogadishu's got one of the best beaches called Lido Beach.
This is a place, you've got all these people, they're quite resilient because just 3 days ago, 20 got killed just up the road. Unbelievable.
I've got some mates on the beach that go and play football with these young kids. I was really at unease of having really 3 or 4 guards. I felt really guilty. I've got all these kids and I kind of didn't really want the guards. But even the guards started playing football with me in the end. Football is a great leveller, believe me.
At least on that holiday, Andrew didn't get shot at. Unlike when he popped over to Iraq and ended up driving into the middle of a shootout with ISIS.
Getting closer and closer and you can hear mortar attack. You go, this is front line, this is the proper stuff, and your heart starts pumping, adrenaline, realising you've got no bulletproof jackets, no hats, and you're basically got a pair of flip-flops on.
Just been asked the question whether we have flat jackets and helmets. Give you indication that this front line might well be active. We haven't, but I don't think that will prevent us moving further forward.
Somewhere like that, at least a sun hat and some Factor 50 would be advisable. But lack of suitable clothing doesn't put off a danger tourist like Andrew.
3 or 4 days earlier, been seeing my blokes on a building site. 3 days later, I'm in Iraq, in Kirkuk, watching a battle go off.
That was all a bit serious, talking about holidays in active war zones. Andy, look, why don't you go somewhere easy for once, like the USA? Maybe check out Disneyland or Universal Studios.
Okay, a bit of an update. We're on the road now, Highway 7 North, up to the KKK compound.
Huh, right. Or pose as a right-wing sympathiser and infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan, of course. Once Andy and his trusty cousin had lied their way in, Klan leader Travis Pierce gave them a personal tour of his KKK compound. As well as showing off their very smart uniform, modelled here by Ronnie, Travis was keen to explain to Andrew and Nigel that when it comes to setting crosses on fire, health and safety considerations always come first.
We're dealing with live fire.
Yeah.
We're dealing with fire all around. We're dealing with people in robes. We're dealing with guests and other people. So there's a lot of preparation because we want it to be done safely. We want it to be done for the right reason. And so we work very hard on making certain that this is a good experience for everybody.
Apart from anyone who's offended by what the Ku Klux Klan stands for. But it's good to know that there's no danger of those polyester Klan robes catching fire. So where we might see war, violence, and the threat of imminent death, danger tourists like Andrew see the chance for a smashing holiday. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but what does Andrew get out of it?
I don't know why my mind and my need to do this happens. It's not something you can sit and go, and I try to think about it. Why do I do it? I don't know, I just do it. Don't need a reason.
Before we move on, check out this rookie drone pilot on holiday who took his new toy out for a spin to check out an apartment block. His camera caught rather more than he expected. Can you guess what happened next? Peekaboo! He can see you. Of course, he then does the decent thing and gets out of the poor girl's airspace, right? Wrong. He goes in for a closer look. She's got a decision to make. Run away or fight back with the weapon of choice of all sunbathers, the trusty broom. Even on a trip as memorable as a wedding holiday, people are always trying to get one up on everyone else on Instagram. Like this pair of newlyweds. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. Right, both of you, big wave for the camera. Well, they've only just tied the knot, and already this marriage is in troubled waters. Well, at least they both see the funny side of it. And the snaps are going to be unique. The photographer won't even need to add his own watermarks.
I don't know how much of it, but...
Now, it seems that as holidaymakers, we're spending less time than ever soaking up the sights and sounds and spending more time peacocking around in front of cameras in pursuit of the perfect holiday selfie. Yeah, I bet that's ruffled our feathers. This is Venice, honestly. City of water and seagulls. It's the perfect place for a photo opportunity. Everywhere you point the camera is beautiful, which is why this man is determined to get a shot of himself next to its picturesque canals. I think you need to get a little bit nearer to the canal. A little bit nearer. Yep, I reckon that's close enough now. Tell you what, though, that was an excellent save on his phone. Ah, good. These two tourists are going to help him out. Nah, maybe not. At least his jeans are shrink to fit. When it comes to taking photos in foreign climes, this guy is an expert.
Hi, I'm Lee, and I guess you could say I'm a little bit of a thrill seeker.
Yes, Lee's a thrill seeker and photographer who's taken some pretty extraordinary trips in search of a shot.
So the hairiest moment I've ever had, I think, was in Tahrir Square in Cairo in Egypt. And yeah, it just got really violent on the streets and people were shooting up at my balcony. A sniper in a helicopter was informed to shoot me down.
After an experience like that, Lee chose to use his passion for photography for something a little less gritty and decided he was going to take the ultimate holiday selfie.
I needed a big idea that would go insanely viral, and I didn't know what it was. But I saw some pictures of some workmen popping their heads out of Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio, and they were fixing some lightning damage on the top of the statue. And I just immediately saw it and thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the top of there and I'm going to take a selfie.
All right. I can't foresee any problems with that plan.
It wasn't that simple. They don't let anybody up to the top of Christ the Redeemer.
Don't they? Lee needed an in, and he went straight to the man at the top.
So I basically stalked the head of the church in Rio de Janeiro and said, you've got to let me to the top of Christ the Redeemer statue. I need to take a picture. I really show Brazil in a really positive light. And I think it's going to go viral and just really make Brazil look amazing. And to my surprise, he said, you're crazy, but come back here tomorrow morning and I'll do my best. And I came back the following morning. He was 2 hours late, so I stayed there. And he thought I was so crazy, he just kept saying, you're a crazy Englishman, and basically ordered one of the builders who was fixing the lightning damage to walk to the top of Christ the Redeemer with me and let me in there and do whatever I like for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, that sounds entirely legit. Any more weirdly implausible details to add?
You go into this little door in Jesus Christ's feet. It's a bit weird.
Bingo!
And you walk around this spiral staircase right to the top. So actually, this is me climbing towards the head of Christ the Redeemer statue. You can see the light bursting in through that hole there. At this point, it must have been about 35, 40 degrees in there. It was boiling hot. I was sweating like crazy. And to be honest, my heart was pounding because I was thinking, when I get to the top, I cannot balls this up. This is the picture, the best picture I'm going to take. And I knew all the time that this was going to go viral. I just knew this was a gem of a picture.
All right, thrill seeker. We'll be the judge of that.
The light the sunlight bursts through. And at this point, I got excited. I was thinking, this is the picture. And this bit now, as I poked my head around this hole and just saw that view.
Whoa! Christ on a Brazilian mountain.
It was mental. It was absolutely crazy.
Not as crazy as you strapping a camera to a seagull to get that photo.
As I popped my head out of the top of Christ the Redeemer statue, it took my breath away. It was the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. You could see every single corner of Rio. And actually the first thing that caught my eye was the people at the plinth of the bottom of Christ the Redeemer statue were so tiny, and all looking up at me and clapping and going, like, you know, like, how the hell did that guy get up there?
My Portuguese is rusty, but I think they're saying jump, English, jump.
It's, to this day, the best moment of my life. After taking in this awesome view from the top, I got myself down by the rope, and overnight, that picture and the video received 100 million impressions worldwide. It's one of the most viral pictures ever. It then went viral a second time when people started to notice a very unfortunate angle on Jesus Christ. I didn't mean to do it at the time, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll see it on the picture.
Sorry, I don't know what you mean. Oh, right. You're talking about his Holy Trinity. It put the erection in resurrection. So that's it for this time, but come back soon, because as we've seen, there's a whole world of brilliant holiday videos out there. So what are you waiting for? Go on, dive in!